why wouldn't that be a great symbol of power for you and where you've come from?
I'm really thankful to be a part of this and like have this as a form of celebration. I feel like my teeth are gonna be like 2 centimeters shorter. That long toothed and big. Thank you, Jesus in heaven. God bless you. Oh my God, I'm getting a tattoo. I'm so scared.
It's a first time for everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a big pride thing too. Everybody in my family has one except for me, my aunt, and my mom. And they're very like, I will never. And I was like, I've always wanted to, but I live through other people. And I'm like, I just need to do this for myself.
Well, it's a good one. I'm excited.
Yee. How long have you been doing tattoos?
Oh, I'm gonna give my age away.
Okay.
1996, I did my first tattoo.
Hell yeah. That's what I want to ask you before it all starts, because when you said you had teenagers, I'm like, okay, then I'm grossly.
Yeah, 1996, I did my first tattoo, like right at the end of 96.
Okay.
And 18 years old.
That's what's up.
And then just never really looked back.
All right, we're done.
That was it.
I'm a scaredy cat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it fits you very well.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I want to make perfect eye contact with you for the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna work and like we'll just see what happens.
Right.
Like let's see what happens in this area. But the thing about it is a lot of people inside tattoos, tattoo artists will ask them to hold their breath. I don't ask that.
Okay.
All I ask is that you breathe nice and easy, okay? So no sudden breaths in, no sudden breaths out, okay? Just nice and easy. Need to stop for any reason, just say the word. Hey, Boodro, I need a minute. There's a lot of detail in this tattoo.
Okay. Lord, be in this place. Bless us, God. Thank you for our journeys.
And then Boodro, Darah's first tattoo.
Yes. Lord Jesus. Oh, I'm scared. Girl, I'm scared. Woo.
So essentially,
You know, if you need a handhold.
yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, that's the noise you're gonna hear. If you hear that noise, assume that you are being tattooed, okay?
Okay. Then stop doing it.
All right? You're gonna hear it a lot.
Yes, sir. Deep breaths, deep erotic breaths. Woo, Jesus.
All right, so let's get into some conversation. So how long have you been doing comedy?
I've been doing comedy since 2014. I started doing improv at the Idiot Box, and I loved it. Then they offered a stand-up class, and I thought, ooh, I could get all the laughs. And so the illustrious Eric Trundy and Steve Lesser had they had a class, and I loved it. And they helped me see that just my regular stories could be funny. And so I did that for a minute, and then I was getting wildly out of control with alcohol, so I ended up taking like 2 years off, and came back, started getting a really good riff going, and then COVID hit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and that kind of scared me, but now I feel more comfortable in public But yeah, oh shit, I'm all the way off topic. I'm fucking tripping.
Oh, you're good. No, you're good. So, like, what made you take that step forward into like going outside of your box and, you know, exposing yourself for the first time, like with the improv? Like, what made you really step out and say, yeah, this is something I really want to do?
I've always been a funny person, and I've always been on stage, and I felt like the next step in, ooh, girl, whew. The next step was to try it for myself.
So are you a North Carolina native?
No.
So where do you hail from?
Where the hell am I from? I'm from the West Coast. I was born in Upland, California, and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we moved out here when I was 14.
Oh, okay. So moving during your teenage years, like, did that kind of repress that willingness to go out because you're constantly like trying to get to know people?
I loved it. I think I secretly loved being the new kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was the new kid for a couple years back to back.
Oh, okay. So what was appealing about being the new kid? Just like extra attention?
Not extra attention, but just getting to like meet people. I love meeting people. And I love telling my story. Oh my God. And so like being in those new places and being able to like rediscover myself, or like, you know, be able to take on something new without like, oh, this is what Darah in middle school did. You know, now I'm like Darah in high school on the other side of the country.
So you almost got to reinvent yourself.
God, yes. Yes. And I've always been on stage. So, oh, Jesus. I'm so sorry. Woo.
You don't have to apologize. It hurts.
Like, I'm trying to like, in my mind, I'm like, give a good interview. And then.
Oh, you are though. That's just it.
Ooh.
In your mind, you think you're not, but you are. So you said you've always been on stage. What else have you done on stage?
It started in first grade when we were doing like the orientation at school. They're like, we need some kids to perform like aliens. And me and my friend did that, and I loved it. I loved being in front of everybody. And I've always done that, like watched Star Search growing up, and I was just like, I want to do that. And so I was always doing like little shows for my mom in the living room. Can I look at it?
Yeah.
I feel like it should be done. Oh my God.
I mean, what are we, like 14 minutes in?
Right.
No.
Boodro.
About 10 minutes in.
I'm going to give you the dose of reality.
Okay.
No, we're not done.
Okay.
It's like climbing a long ladder. Don't look down, you know?
Yeah, I guess I'm not looking down.
Yeah.
So I was in that performance and I loved it. And then, you know, tried to be in chorus and like drama and stuff in elementary school. And then in middle school, when they had like explicitly drama class, I was like, this is my holy grail.
Oh, okay.
So I've always been a performer, like on stage. And I see that in my daughter too, where anywhere we go, if there's a stage, at a park, at a coffee house, at a church, at wherever we go, like she's up on that mug, like, this is my shit. And I'm like, I got you, girl. So it's always been like where I belong.
Yeah.
And so it was not scary to make that jump. And it actually is weird to me when other people are like, how can you do that? I can't believe you do that.
Mm-hmm. So so you say you took a break because of alcohol
Oh,
use.
yeah.
So how was the alcohol use starting to have a negative effect to where you had to take that break?
First of all, everybody was my boyfriend, so I was trying to. My husband did not like that. I was saying shit on stage that was just completely against any kind of sacred bond of marriage.
Oh, okay.
I was like revealing a lot of secrets and trash talking my husband by name. It was very like rocket launched grenades specifically at my loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
I was so angry and hurt and scared. I felt justified. And I remember specifically one night, it was the last show that I did. And Eric actually told me, he was like, "You're falling off the edge, kid." And I was like, yeah. And I literally felt like it was like the last slip of a finger before you go underwater for a long time. And I didn't know if I would make it out.
Yeah.
And so behind that, my husband and I separated for a long time. We were separated for almost a year. And when we got back together, it still took a lot more work. I mean, obviously you see me with this intricate tattoo, like 14 minutes in, are we done? Like, I just want to be done with the hard shit. But we've been in marriage counseling for about 2.5 years, and he's in recovery too, thank you God. And we're both just trying our fucking best, like at 1,000 every day.
Yeah.
And it creates a safer place for me to tell my truth and like actually be funny, not just be like over sexualized or grotesque or shock. That's what I like, shock and awe. Oh, was really my cup of tea there for a minute.
So it gave you an avenue to be more realistic with the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So how much do you bring recovery into your act? Because I don't know if you want to become like a recovery comic. You know, I mean, they do have people
I fear that.
Yeah, you know, they do have people that's their deal, but
yeah. No, I like to shout out that I'm sober. I talk about working a program of recovery. But I say it in a cheeky way, and I say a lot of things that we say in the room. So like if I have a fellow in there, they're probably like, "Yeah, girl," you know, but we can't really be like, "Hey, I'm part of this club. Y'all come join me." You know, it's not evangelical by any means, but
you're not handing out membership cards.
Right. But if you're drinking the non-alcoholic juice, then you know what I'm talking about. Oh. And a lot of it is like, it's fun for me to do the self-reflection now, where before I was like, "Look at my husband, he's such an asshole." And now I'm like, "Hey, this is the dumb shit that I do that I think's normal." And my husband's like, "Hey, you're kind of being an asshole."
Oh, yeah. It's the old adage that if you walk into a room and everybody's always the asshole, then you're really the asshole.
Yeah. I was surrounded by a lot of bitches before I got sober.
So in your recovery journey, like, so take me through when did you decide to take the step to get back on stage? Like, I am in a place now that I'm starting to heal myself. I'm starting to repair myself. Now let me kind of hit a reset button and get back there. Where was that point in time?
Yeah, that was in the end of 2020. or the beginning of 2021, I affectionately call myself a Zoom baby. I am an honorary member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and was sober on Zoom. I was not drinking, but I wasn't doing anything else. I was just like holed up in my house. Like, if I don't buy alcohol and I don't go nowhere, then I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where my husband was like, "Hey, boo, you're not yourself. Like, you know, think about getting back to your outlet, or like what makes you tick."
Because there's more to recovery than just not doing insert substance of choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, we say it's a program of action. And so I just needed to be out doing. And I got back on stage. Bizarre shit started happening in my family. And so I had to kind of put the mic down. But now I find that, you know, my comedy doesn't have to be on stage at night at a bar in a this or that kind of place. Like, I'm learning how to perform on film. And so even in the transition of like, I'm a high school play person, now I'm a improv person, now I'm a stand-up person, now I'm like getting more into sketch and seeing how my funny can translate to the screen. And that's been a lot of fun because it doesn't require so much time away from my family or traveling, you know, like 3 hours to a show, do 10 minutes and then get $20 worth of gas and then go back home.
Yeah, because ultimately the like, I mean, it's a self-rewarding prophecy that you're fulfilling, you know. It's so I often think about like, what is the real reward? You know, is the drive, like, because to me, I'm a situational person, and so like, I think about all the things that lead up to something happening. And that's just as much of a part of the event as the actual event. So like driving to a gig, it's the conversations you have, the stuff you see along the way. And so it's all like a culmination. It all comes together. And so I 100% sympathize with you talking about the amount of time for the amount of payoff. And especially in this day and age, we have so many different avenues that we can explore and still get like a reasonable payoff to where it was like, oh yeah, that was worth my time. Like, and I didn't even leave my living room. Like I had to do some editing and I had to, and it's very strange to me. Cause like, we didn't have internet in my house until I was 19. Yeah. You know? And so like, I think about like now, just, it seems so surreal that the world is so small.
Yes.
It's just so surreal. Yeah. But so whenever you like, so is being on stage part of your recovery also, do you think?
Yeah, because that's where I feel most myself. And I've learned through, did I say I was in marriage counseling? I learned in marriage counseling that I love in a very aggressive, pointed, like low-key violent way, where I'm just like, you need to be looking at me and I'm looking at you and we're in love with each other and nobody else is sexy. It's just me and you. Like, it's very
possessive.
Yeah. And the like dominant and unrealistic, I guess.
Well, I mean, people like what they like.
Yeah.
And I mean, you do seem like I mean, I know you, but I don't know you like extremely well, but you do seem like a strong, independent woman that.
Thank you.
Like, this is Like, this is the way I want shit to be, you know? And I guarantee you probably have a little bit of a hard time dealing with it whenever it doesn't go your way. So do you get that balance on stage? Like, is that some of the things, like, because there are situations that you can't control on stage, and like, so does that kind of level you out a little bit to where it's like, oh shit, they didn't laugh. Let me try harder. But because I mean, I don't know. I think in your personal life, maybe you do kind of like have things in control, you know, especially being in recovery and having, going through what you went through with your partner and building a stronger relationship.
Oh my God.
You know, does that on stage failure sometimes or lack of control? I shouldn't say failure. I should say lack of control.
First of all, don't assume that I've ever failed on stage. Number one.
But that like, I mean, essentially complete, you know, in the spur of the moment, lack of control is like, is that a healthy part of recovery also for you?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely that higher power sense where I'm just like, these people, their power to manipulate the feelings in this room is bigger than mine. I'm trying like hell, but it is really humbling, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Oh, that's a good word.
But, you know, I've kind of gotten to a place because my comedy is obscure. Some people don't get it. Some people don't get it. They're having fun, but maybe they don't know why. You know, like, why is she doing poetry? Why is she doing weird voices? Why is her body all over the place? Like, they're having fun, but I have to, no, you're talking about bombing. Okay. I low key like bombing. And I think that's the same way. Like, I read, Stephen King's On Writing, and he started writing at a very young age, and his first submission, he got a rejection letter and he taped it up over his desk, and for every subsequent rejection letter, he put it right there on top of it. He was like, this is the work. I'm going to get rejected more than I get accepted. So like, I just need to get with this feeling and get the fuck over it. And so for the nights that I bomb, when I hit, that shit is like nothing that you can tell to earth people.
Yeah, euphoria.
Yeah. I feel like I've been talking through my teeth the whole time. I feel like I'm...
So you say you have a different brand of comedy. So, like I think the outside of the ring, you know, is the true interest. You know, those people that are in the ring that understand it all, know all of it. You know, it's kind of dime a dozen, whatever. The outside of the ring is where you start to
Could you not write a joke and these bitches laugh? That's the...
Well, I mean, it's almost like the Dice Clay, the day Laughter died. You know, he goes and I was talking with somebody about this the other day, that he went and he recorded an album and made it horrible on purpose.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, because that was not the norm. That was the outside of the ring. And, you know, and now like it's, you know, renowned. And I mean, he's still a renowned comic and everything, but whether you agree or not, but it's one of those things. So whenever you're kind of breaking through that ring, how do you define your comedy as being that unique set, that unique style?
I was an only kid for a long time, and I grew up in Las Vegas. And so my mom would say, like, when you get home, lock the door behind you, call me to let me know you're home, and don't turn on the TV until I get home. And so I was my entertainment. I would do voices for myself. I would do dance parties for myself. I would create characters or like, ooh, you know, just like play all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was younger, Jim Carrey was it for me. I loved him on In Living Color. I loved him any chance I could see him on a late night show. I would sneak around the corner and try to watch it on TV. And his style of like, how the hell is he doing that? Why is he doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Really touched me. That if I would do something weird with my body in front of you that's abnormal, you're gonna go, what? So like, I put wigs on. I do voices. I tell the audience to look at my body. You know, like, let's just get over it. It's like tits and ass are on stage and let's just all get over it, please. And using my motherhood to describe my experience as a human, to connect with people. Because if you're not a mom, you have a mom, and the shit's weird on either side. It's really fucked up on either side. And so introducing different ideas around that, you know, instead of saying something endearing about my mom having cancer, I have like a rap that I do talking about how high I am trying to deal with my mom being sick.
Yeah.
I have a poem that I do to describe what motherhood feels like. I have a persona that I put on to play my husband. And then I do voices, and those voices have morphed into their own beings, which I'm thankful to explore in the sketch work that I'm doing now.
So the characters, does that allow you to kind of explore where you may like have not thought to go?
Yeah.
Like expose more of you, expose more of that side that allows, you know, control to be let go and things kind of a little more loose, a little more freedom.
Yeah.
Is that where the characters kind of bring you? They're like the leaders of your path on stage?
Yeah, the characters for me are, I guess, what I was chasing when I was drinking, where I'm just like, I don't have any inhibition anyway. I don't have anything hampering me from being wild as hell. And when I'm a character, there's every possibility to say something that isn't me, to do something that isn't me, and not get away with it, you know, like, oh, I was dressed like Erica, so you guys, you know, I can say that. Like, I'm mindful of like those things, but they do take on their own agendas.
Yeah, you're not just saying it to say it, you're saying it with a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, but the freedom to say it through a character.
Yeah.
To where there is no filter.
Yeah.
Almost, you know.
No filter is a good way.
How are you doing? Are you feeling okay?
Yeah. I am feeling okay.
I mean, I know it hurts, but I just want to make sure that, you know, you're not weak or anything.
No, I don't feel weak. I mean, I'll probably chill for a minute afterwards.
All right.
But yeah. It's a little spicy.
Yeah, it's a tender spot. I mean, whenever you said it, I definitely, I mean, I 100% support, you know, get whatever you want, wherever you want. Because I don't really care if this thing takes us 50 times to finish. Like, we'll get it finished and it'll look great, you know. So, like, that's where I'm at with it. I'm not one of these people that gets irritated whenever somebody's hurting. It hurts. Like, shit hurts, you know. It's nerve. You're piercing through nerve.
I feel like you're braiding my skin in molecule form. Like I feel like you're reaching into my DNA and untangling it and then putting it.
That's probably the best description. Braiding my skin in molecule form. That is the
Oh my
best
God.
description.
That's a good one.
Whew. Sheesha.
So
I really had myself convinced that this was not going to hurt.
no,
And it's not hurting the way that I thought it would. And that is frustrating.
and that's messing with you too. Yeah, don't worry. It's nothing. I've dealt with so many and you're doing excellent. Like I mean, you're really doing great. So don't think that you're not doing well. You're doing wonderful.
When I watch this back, I'm going to be surprised at what I'm talking about because I really feel like, not that I'm in a blackout, but I feel like I'm just trying to talk because I'm fucking on fire on my side. I'm trying to fucking answer your question.
I do think, like, I have a feeling you're going to get addicted to this. You're going to actually enjoy it, I think.
Yeah.
Are you assuming that I have an addictive personality?
Not at all.
Well, this is
Ooh,
a
it's
much
tender when you touch it like that.
yeah. Well, this is a much healthier outlet than
Ruining my family and wasting all my money.
I mean, the thing is I mean, you could color yourself like a coloring book.
Right.
The meaning of the tattoo is super deep, and I love the tattoo, and
me
that's
too.
I mean, it's just I feel very fortunate to get to do it, and help you bring it to life and create it and be a part of this experience with you, but. You're just in a super dark place, and I mean, you've climbed out of it.
Yes.
I mean,
Thank you, God. Thank you,
I mean,
God.
that's what you can say is that is salvation.
Yeah.
That's recovery in motion.
Yeah.
So whenever you say that program of action, that's the action. You decided to take the step forward to move to a better place. So where did the concept of the tattoo come from?
Mm-hmm.
And so where are you now as the mother?
Yeah.
Because I know you use that term a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so where are you now as the mother, and kind of like just let everybody know kind of where the tattoo came from conceptually.
Yeah. I'm really thankful to be a part of this and like have this as a form of I hate to say the word penance, but also just like celebration, I guess, is more of the like.
I think it's more of a celebration than a penance.
Yeah. It was like I did some bad things and I made some choices that I didn't fully know any kind of ramification behind, and was using it as like nuclear war against the person I love the most.
I mean, you don't have to say anything you don't want to say. Like,
no, it's all good.
I don't want you to.
It's all good. I'm just, I'm trying to breathe.
Yeah,
I'm trying to talk. My
trying to put one thought in
Yeah.
front of the other.
My thoughts are like, all right, something deep, pain. Oh, yeah. I experienced 3 losses, and I'm not somebody that's like thriving in their abortion stories. And I admire women having the choice. I think 100% it's my fucking business. I also think that when it became oh, really? Let's see how this makes you feel. That is when it became like a weaponized action towards specifically my husband. He's the first person I've had unprotected sex with, and I did not know how to handle that. I was not going to an OBGYN the way I should have been. I was not on birth control. You know, and just very naive and wanted to please my husband, and then just falling deeper off into alcohol. I started drinking whiskey nightly, and it got to a place of like, fuck it, like really fuck it.
Yeah.
And after the first abortion, I thought, well, that'll never happen again. What has brought me the most relief is when I share my story and women come up to me and they're like, dude, I've never told anybody about this.
Mm-hmm.
And we can hug and love on each other and forgive each other. It's like these waves of forgiveness. It's never like, kablooey, you're forgiven. You know, it's just like, let's hold each other and let's let it pass. You know, it's kind of like a natural disaster where it's just like the hurricane will pass.
Yeah.
And we keep surviving. The thing that has been most surprising in the rooms is when I share and men come up to me and they find, like how you said, salvation in my story, you know, where they're like, I was married and I got my girlfriend pregnant and I made my girlfriend get an abortion. And I've always felt some type of way about that. And you sharing let me feel those emotions again and like really, truly get to the heart of how selfish and self-centered I am. And that's what it's all about. Like before, it's almost like I instinctively knew that I need to be telling this story, but I was doing it in such a violent,
destructive way.
God, it couldn't have touched anybody. It was so repulsive. It was like disturbing. Like disturbing. It was fucking grotesque. But now when I share, there's a level of tenderness, and having become a mother after all of the choices I've made and deciding like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm scared as hell to be a mom, but I also know that I cannot do that again. And it felt the same way that alcohol felt. Like, I don't know how I'm not going to live my life without alcohol, but I need to fucking try. I need to see if I can't not, you know what I mean? And one of my fellows always says your misery is fully refundable. And so I just needed to try. And I love being a mom, specifically a mother to my daughter. And I tell her that. I try to tell her that every day. I loved in my upbringing when my mama, like, it would just be like quiet, and then she'd go, Darah, and I'm like, what? And she's like, I love you. And I try to do that with my baby, and I'll tell her, I love being your mama. It's something that I can still be in disbelief about. Like, she'll do something and I'll look at my husband and I'm like, that's our baby. We made that thing. Like, we made that person, you know, like, it's completely out of our control now. And the more I find relief in the choices I've made, I see that it was never something I did anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and I shared with you that my fourth pregnancy, I gave birth to on the 4th day of the 4th month. And I really feel that that was a God shot, that was a gift for me, from God, to say thank you for enduring this and you're on the right path. And see, since I've said yes to motherhood, I feel freer on stage. I feel empowered to remain sober. I had a couple big benders while she was younger. And I remember one of the last times that I drank, it was bad. It was getting real bad at the end. And it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I finally got up, and my mom was taking care of the baby. And my baby was like a year and a half. And my mom was like, why do you do this to yourself? And my honest to God answer was, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like feeling like this. I don't know. But I knew that I did not want my kid to see me like that. And so my mom said, okay, I'll take care of the baby. You just get right. And it took me a while for that to keep coming up. You know, her second birthday party, an hour into this fucking daytime event with children everywhere. I am projectile vomiting in my bedroom. And my husband's like, where's Darah? I can hear him out in the house. Where is Darah? And he came in, and I'm like, shit dripping on my face and all over the fucking closet doors. And he was like, seriously, dude, what the fuck? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know how I got like this. And I remember when I was saying it, I felt like I was screaming into like a really empty hallway.
Yeah.
And I felt so scared. I just felt completely out of control, and I needed that. So that was April of 2019, and I didn't stop drinking until January 3rd. But my sobriety date is August 1st, 2020, because a bitch was still getting hot in a mouth. Was still smoking weed like it was my job, baby. Ooh. But it got to a point where I was spending so much money on that good shit, and I literally could not get high.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, I'm 3 bowls in, and I'm like, I just smoked $100 of weed, and I don't feel nothing, dog. What the fuck is it? And I have some very close family members that invited me into the rooms. And then once the pandemic happened and everybody was on Zoom, it was like, bitch, you gonna come or not? You ain't got no excuse now. And I was like, motherfucker. And I logged in. And everybody, you know, is like, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm an alcoholic. And I'm like low-key laughing under my breath. And I said, I'm Darah. I don't know that I'm an alcoholic. I get weird when I drink, but I'm definitely a pothead. And by the end of the meeting, I was like, I'm an alcoholic. It felt like home. It felt like the deepest understanding of myself through other people that I've ever had.
Yeah.
You know, the same shit right here where I'm like, the tattoo's not gonna hurt. You know, I'm not messing with anybody when I drink. I'm just, you know, it's all this fake shit that I make up in my mind to justify why I get to do what I do.
Yeah.
And not take any responsibility for it. And that was...
Well, that's how you remain guilt-free.
Oh, yeah. And that was like a cuss word to me growing up. Like, responsibility, bitch. I'm not here for that. I'm helpless and y'all need to help me. And now I feel, you know, in motherhood, a really deep tie to caring for another person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a trip.
Well, I mean, the thing is like, I really think that your daughter is benefiting from like those bad experiences, like those bad things that happened. I mean, your daughter gets to experience an awesome mom, you know?
Thank you.
Like there's all those things that we can sit there and we can tell ourselves that we did bad and we could have did better and all this and everything else. But whenever it comes down to it, all we can really do is just what we think is right at the time.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about you, but I was not born with a rule book on how this thing was supposed to go.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. And so you're figuring things out as you go. And as you're figuring things out, you're making mistakes, but you can choose to either live in all those mistakes or say, hey, I'm just going to make tomorrow maybe mistake free, but probably not. But whenever those mistakes happen, I'm going to be in a better presence of mind to deal with it. I'm going to be in a better presence of mind to deal with the people around me. You know, Eric and I were talking about, we were talking about animals, and because I got to meet his cats. Well, one cat, the other cat just kind of just sneered at me this morning. But you know, in meeting his cats, we were talking about our cats and stuff like that and all. And like we have a kitten right now, and it's so bad. And and Eric was talking about how his cat had just knocked down this thing that he did, and he was like, yeah, it was a real test in patience, you know.
Yes.
And we're tested every day. Every day we're tested. And like, I feel like I'm doing okay right now, you know, like, and okay's okay.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be great every day.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people, as they're growing up, they get this perception, and like right now, especially in the internet age and things of that nature, like I think they get this perception of, if I'm not great, I'm nothing.
Yes.
You know, and good is okay. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with just being good, you know? And so I think people need to really explore more of like being just a decent person. You don't have to go out of your way to like hold every door open for every person at Walmart, you know, which they have automatic doors now, but you know, it is 2022. They have automatic doors. You know, but
I go and I break the automatic doors so that I have to.
so I have to open doors for people. But I mean, it's like, really just be a decent person, you know, and pass those things on to the future generation. Yeah. So your relationship with your daughter now, how are you trying to ensure, but I mean, you can't ultimately, because like you say, it's out of your control. She's her own person.
Yeah, for sure.
But what tools are you instilling in her as a mother, as a creator, because you're a creative person, you think outside the box and things like that. You have confidence, you have will, you have these things that you go and do. So how are you instilling that in her to where like she has a step up as a young lady coming up with all these insecurities and all these things of like, oh, am I good enough and all, and then like just give her a little bit of a leg up on being a confident, successful woman moving forward.
Yeah. First of all, I know that she will wake up to the fact that she's been 12-stepped her whole life, where she'll probably have some mentor that says the same shit that I do. And she's like, damn, that bitch was 12-stepping me the whole time. I'm always like hitting her ass with literature and like trying to figure out like the only reason I can get through this is because I'm praying the sick man's prayer over your little bitty ass. Whew. She is crazy. But
is she like mom or like dad?
A little bit of both.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of both. But she is, she's like my brand of wild and crazy, for sure. And I love it. It is infuriating to have like a direct reflection of who you are staring back at you, like in action. You know, when I'm like yelling at her to stop screaming, that's probably that's like the same sentiment of like, I'm looking for my glasses, you know, it's like, stop yelling. She motivates me and holds me accountable, whether she knows it or not. I mean, she's 5. I doubt she knows it, but I pray that she understands it someday. That mommy started going to acting school to not only prove a point to herself, but also to give me permission. That I don't want to be a mom that's like, you can do whatever you want, and then like trudge my ass into a job that I hate every day. I want to say you can be whatever you want and then turn around and be whatever the hell I want to be.
Oh, that's good.
And so, you know, a big part of it for me is like, don't talk about it, be about it. And that's something that I've taken to heart. We talk about some of the spiritual meetings that I go to. We talk about the 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And one of them is be a person of your word. And that was big for me. You know, I see all these people in my upbringing miserable. But you can be whatever you want to be, Darah. Go for it, girl. You know, and I'm like, bitch, what? And I want my kid to have the opportunity to go. Not only did my mom say she believes in me, but she believed in her motherfucking self. And that speak to those dark times when, you know, when I'm out of my mind and I don't believe in this shit. Like, that's a big reason why Frida Kahlo is part of this tattoo, because I feel like I'm about to get on my Lulu shit, but I felt like she visited me during my quiet time the other day, because I was praying about writing, or like, what the fuck am I even doing? Like, who do I think I am? I think people are going to log online to look at me being me in different hair. Who the fuck do I think I am?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're funny, bitch. That's all you do? Like, okay. Anybody could put makeup and a wig on. And like, I was really getting like deep off into that like ooey gooey, self-loathing, you know, self-deprecating shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I, honest to God, I felt like Frida Kahlo pulled up and held me by the hands and looked me in my eye and kissed me on my forehead. And it just felt like all I did was me, boo-boo. That's all I did was me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she was a mold breaker.
Yeah.
You know, well, I mean, she wasn't a mold breaker. She invented the mold. You know, that she, because I mean, at a time where, you know, art was, well, I mean, even art still today, I find is still, you know, heavily male dominated. Mm-hmm. I think it's a little more fair now than, you know, in those times. And so, like, why wouldn't that be a great symbol of power for you? You know, a great symbol to express who you are and where you've come from, and like where you're going, like, you know, because I mean that projected path is unset. You know, it's not here yet. It hasn't happened yet. So the willingness to identify with such a strong figure, and I mean, whenever you brought up the ad, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a good. I wrote that to you. I was like, I said out loud, this is gonna be a good tattoo. Yes. You know, and so like those things to me, like those bonds are special because you have something stronger to go back to whenever you do have those moments of vulnerability of, you know, like thinking to yourself, am I worthy? am I good enough? You know, all those mental things that sit there and just constantly fuck with you all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like it's the orbit of bullshit.
Yes.
You know, and I got a good friend of mine that sits there and he always talks about the orbit of bullshit. And Lee, if you're watching, hey.
What up, Lee?
But he always talks about, like, you know, all this shit's all around you all the time, and all of it's on different orbits. You know, like whenever you broke somebody's pencil in kindergarten, you know, it's on a really big orbit because it really doesn't mean shit to you. You know, but every now and again it'll pop into your mind and you're like, oh yeah, that was dumb. But then there's the things that really like fucking weigh on you, you know, and those orbits are small. Those orbits just stay. And they just
sometimes they're just a pulsing star in the center of your universe.
Yes, yeah. You know,
I'm like, oh, good morning, bullshit. I done put myself through. Good morning.
Thick ass gravity.
Right. Thick ass.
Fucking Jupiter.
I'm fucking
you know,
falling in this shit.
But like, and then he'll just flat out be like, how long you want to hold on to this orbit?
Yes.
Because I'm the one that's keeping the orbit there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and you know, you can sit there and you can hurt people and stuff like that, and you can say sorry until sorry doesn't mean sorry anymore. You know, and then it's
frothy emotional appeal.
Yeah, you know, you sit there, you like, I've said sorry 1,000 times, so sorry is just SORRY. It doesn't have any fucking context to it. You know,
I was like, slow down. I mean, sorry.
I'm a good speller. I can spell sorry.
No, and you spelled it fast too. I had to get.
I'm not a good speller. That's. So you're on a good path.
Yeah.
How are you sustaining? Like, are you just still 24 hours at a time? Can you look a little bit into the future and say, hey, you know, as long as I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm okay. And like, I'm just going to keep one foot in front of the other, or do you have a little bit of a plan as you move forward?
Yeah. As far as the practice of my recovery goes, it is just a daily reprieve. It's something that I wake up to. You know, we call it untreated alcoholism, and it's just like untreated diabetes. Like, bitch, your sugar gonna be high if you don't take your insulin right now, you know? And for me, my insulin in this analogy is connecting with my higher power, and really, like, Darah needs to go sit down in timeout and shut the fuck up before the day even gets started. I get up out the bed, I go pee, I wash my hands. I don't even brush my teeth. I go straight to the coffee pot, make my coffee, and I sit down in silence. And my sponsor told me to start practicing the 3rd step prayer, and it took me a minute to get a hold of that mug. But once I did, I say it probably more than the serenity prayer. And I start my prayer time with that. And then I sit for 20 minutes in silence. And it doesn't feel like silence because a bitch mind is already going bananas at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And what I practice is centering prayer, which is to have a holy word that is like a plumb line through my spirit. So like how you were saying about the orbits, that really connects with me, because that's what I'm basically seeing when I'm sitting in a quiet time, and like I'm breathing in peace and I breathe out peace, and I breathe in peace and I breathe out peace. And then I breathe in and I remember that motherfucker from high school that said some shit about my fucking mustache. And I want to hurt your children and, you know, stop posting these ugly bitches on Facebook. I don't need to say that. You know what I mean? I don't even need to think that. I guess to that point of what you said, and shout out to Lee with the orbit analogy, is like, I have to let those mugs free. And the close ones are hard, but sometimes I can get their orbit to go out a little bit further. And that distance in time lets me see how much clearer and freer I can be when I'm not tied to that. But that's how I stay sober. I can't look into the future. And, you know, there's something that we call that as future tripping. because my anxiety can be so that now that's all I'm thinking about. And, that's why I was saying before we got in here, like all day yesterday and all day today, I've been like, I'm just in the car driving. I don't even have a tattoo. I'm not getting a tattoo. I'll get a tattoo when I get there, you know? And then when I was thinking about it, I'm thinking like, oh, it can't hurt worse than this. It's going to feel exactly like what I'm fucking thinking about. And this shit is not it. This is not it. Whew. It is kind of surreal though. And I think this is the perfect way that I should have. I mean, it is what's happening. So it is what's happening. But I'm thankful that it's like in front of everybody. Again, this is that's what I was trying to say earlier. Okay, hold up. Whew. Sorry, I was moving my leg all crazy and then I remembered that I need to stay still. The way that I love it being so violent and direct. When I'm on stage, that's what it feels like. And I had this epiphany that that's how I need to be loved. That's when not need to, but that's how I feel most loved. When I'm on stage and everybody's looking at me like, do it. And believing and having fun with me, I feel so much, not even love in the sense of love, but like connection to my deepest reason why the fuck I'm here, which is something that I desperately struggled with when I was using. You know, I had a lot of suicidal ideations and I had a couple plans that didn't work out. Thank you, God. But I still honor those moments of like, I've been where it feels like, I'm out, I'm done. Fuck y'all. This is really, if it's all this, then I'm out of here. It's different than I thought. And what I really was thinking is that I like the practice of this. Like when there's something that you do it for so long, you try to figure out how best to do it. Because I remember you saying like, some people say hold your breath, but don't hold your breath. Like I've tried that. Then I've tried like, should I hold my breath and flex my abs or should I not? Or should I do, or should I? And so I like the idea of like, try it multiple ways and see what works. But it don't stop the hurting. It don't stop the hurting. And I feel like I have sweated through this blanket.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
Or maybe I peed a little bit and I'm sorry. Oh my God.
You know, that's your blanket.
Thank you. It does feel like more of a celebration. I want to clarify that.
Oh, it should. Yeah, you should feel good about, you know, like I think you should just feel good about where you are, you know, the things that you've gone through and like the ability to be able to look back and say, damn, I did some dumb shit. You know, like, I mean, that's really what it's about. It's like, damn, I did some dumb shit. And like that whole adage of, you know, you can sit there and you can tell your daughter like, hey, this is all the dumb shit mom did. And she might do all the same dumb shit. You know, that's where we don't have the control.
It's a lovely perspective now that you have to be able to say, hey, I did some dumb shit, because you're at a point where you can say that and know that it was dumb. You know, it would be worse if you're still doing the same shit, you know? So that growth is what allows you to look back and see it as dumb.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And there's this bakery that's like 2 miles from my house, and I gotta avoid, like, I don't drive that way no more. Like, I go out of my way if I gotta go to a place over that way. I'm gonna stop in, get me 6 scones, $14 each, or however much they charge at bakeries now.
Right.
Let's talk about how much bakeries have. Like the fucking inflation at bakeries is 400% more than every other business in America. What are you doing, bakeries?
Big bakeries are
They're
getting
baking stuff.
record
Big
profits.
bakeries.
Big bakery fucking with us.
And they got their claws in.
Right.
That's right.
How you feel on that sugar addiction play? Wow.
I've been trying to fuck off with the sugar, man. It's so difficult.
No,
These
yeah,
last
it
2
really
weeks,
is.
I've been real light on the sugar, but I did. Truth be told, when I got in the house last night at 10:30 after my weekend, I did eat half a birthday cake. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. How big was the birthday cake?
It's a little small baby,
Okay, I'm here for it.
strawberry shortcake, you know?
God,
So my
with the
birthday was.
My new secret addiction is, or as far as sweets go,
Uh-huh.
and I'll make you some and I'll bring it to you. It's gonna be a hashtag problem. Is moochie.
Okay.
It's a
The ice
rice
cream?
pastry.
Oh, moochie.
It's a rice pastry.
Okay.
It sounds boring as fuck as if I give you the recipe,
Yeah.
but when you taste it, bruh.
Well, it's boring if you give me the recipe because I won't make it. But if you bring me some, I will eat that shit.
Yeah.
All right, so if I get you I get you the fucking best carrot cake you ever had. I give you a spoonful. You gotta eat. Here you go. You can eat this spoonful of carrot cake.
Yeah. Or
And then I take that whole carrot cake.
Yeah.
And I put it in the fridge. How long that carrot cake lasts before you can touch it? Like, what's the longest you can go without sneaking in there?
I'm gonna tell you where my bathroom is. I'm gonna offer you the biggest glass of water so you leave and then I'll eat it. You know, one of my favorite.
No, you're
jokes
free
is like
reign. You can have the cake whenever you like it.
Oh, I'm eating it right now.
You eat it right now. You could not wait.
All of it?
Let's say you get $100 a day to leave that cake in the fridge. How many days do you make it before you eat that cake?
I might make $400.
You might.
I might.
4 days, pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you gonna say? Do you feel? You ever feel like tough or strong? How often do you feel
Hell yeah.
tough or strong?
Hell yeah.
Because when I look at you, when I think about you, you're like one of the toughest, strongest people I know.
I appreciate that. Like physically when I work out and I like jump 10 pounds and whatever I'm lifting or like what a set goals that way. But also when I carry my kid who like when she's asleep and it's dead weight and she like cranks her body into a plank, I feel like only parents can understand what I'm talking about with that shit.
Yeah.
But she just like crank. And it's like how you dead weight and you're aboard. I don't
Stiff as a
understand.
board and heavy as fuck.
Yeah. When I get her in the bed without like dropping her on her head or like me falling on her, like I have a big fear of like tripping and falling and like her breaking my fall because it's a lot. She's a big person for a 5-year-old. She's like in the 100 percentile. They're like, bitch, she's technically 9. Like they like this 5-year-old.
What are you doing carrying this adult around?
Yeah, that's what it feels like. I'm like, bitch, she's starting to call me short. And I'm like, first of all, you're still shorter than me. So I should not be picking a fight with my 5-year-old, but I do.
Especially your 5-year-old who's gonna be bigger than you in like a year.
No, for real. No, I sometimes
What
when
up,
she's
Mom?
like when she's standing up and I'm sitting like crisscross applesauce, I'll look up to her and I'm like, this is the differential. Like this is what it's gonna be most of our life. I feel like my teeth are gonna be like 2 centimeters shorter
They
after
are,
this shit.
yeah. No, that's actually, we got you in here to do some dental work. Everybody, all the YouTube comments is like, why Darah teeth so long?
Our teeth are
Everybody keep messaging and asking why your teeth so long. And we were like, let's grind them bitches down.
That long toothed bitch. Need to get them teeth down. I just don't know how to tell it.
Man, I like everything about her except her long ass teeth.
can make them gum longer.
Yeah, any way we can lengthen them gums,
Right.
shorten them teeth.
Hey, show me some gums.
Ratios off.
Hey, sweetie, can I see them gums?
Like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. All I got is teeth.
Sorry, sir. I'm logging the tube.
Oh my God. Whew. Does that mean we're done?
Yeah.
Thank you,
session is
Jesus
done.
in heaven. God bless you. Oh,
How you feel?
I feel good.
Yep, this session is done. We're gonna let it heal. Like
So
I say, I'm back in
pretty.
December.
How do you feel about the next session, Darah?
I
Let's
feel
stop that
okay.
anxiety now.
No, I feel good.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
You can survive it.
Yes.
So the next part is just coloring.
Yeah.
Nice. Hell yeah. That's awesome, dude.
How you feel, Darah?
I feel good. I love it.
You love it?
I love it.